Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us today. Really appreciate it. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Joshua Caulfield. I'm the CEO here at the NSA, and in honor of rolling out a new technology release that we're excited to be putting out, I'm wearing my traditional Steve Jobs black turtleneck. Very excited to talk to you today. I see we have a bunch of people. I did mention that I noticed that a number of people are using note taker apps on this. Wonderful. Delighted to have that happen. We also will be sending out both a how-to guide, a reference document, as well as a couple of different videos. And as you probably heard when we started, we are recording this session, so we'll be able to put that out there. One of the things that we're doing that's a little different than what we normally put forward when we do these types of events is that you all are unable to unmute at this time. So if you would, please put your questions or your comments in the chat. Kemi's going to be watching for technology concerns, or if you have audio issues or something's going on where you can't see or what have you, he will engage with you. John will be running the event, and what we're going to do is we're going to hit all the questions at the end. So if you'd be so kind as to put your questions into the chat function, I'll make sure we hit them before we finish the presentation. And if you've come up with stuff that happens afterwards and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask this or what have you, feel free to bring it up, to myself or to John Overington. You can send it direct to the office. You can give me a call. Happy to answer any questions along the way. Now, in addition to this session, which we are recording and going to make available, we're also going to as I mentioned, we've got a couple of different users guides. One is going to be for you to be able to set things up and run it, and one is going to be for you to be able to present to your clients. The same thing with the videos. We have a client-facing video, and we'll be doing probably another one later on. And if you would like us to do one, or if you'd like to take our prepared videos and put your own edit it and put your own front facing on it, that's totally fine. As a member, we're not worried about IP rights. We want this to be custom to you. We want you to be able to use this as a representation of your business. We only want the NSA to appear where it supports and validates your professionalism. So, what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about the release of NSA Sync. This has taken a little while to put together. When we found out that some of our previous file portal programs were not going to be readily accessible, or they wanted more money than we were willing to spend per person to be able to put things out. What we did was we started to build our own file portal transfer system. The things that we focused on most importantly were security, simplicity, and real-world use. What you're going to see today is our phase one release. I'm very excited for what we have here. I think you'll be very pleased. It is very clean. It is very easily updated and branded to your business, and it's pretty direct and simple to use. I don't think anything you're going to see here is going to blow your mind, but the nice thing is it's free with your membership. Every member of NSA gets access to this for their firm for free. So, what we're rolling out is phase one. There will probably be future phases coming out. Those will have different aspects and things available to them. And there may be an upcharge on those depending upon what features and functionalities we put in there. For example, if we put in an overall entire payment system, there may be something with that. But right now, everything that you've got and everything that we show you here and now will be free to members forever. This is part of your membership and it's part of the value that NSA brings to your firm. Again, I want to reiterate security. What you're going to see here as we talk about this, I'm going to spend a bunch of time talking about permissions and how you're only going to be able to access things within your specific instance of the system, and your clients are only going to be able to see the things within their specific piece of the system. And I'll talk a little bit about permissions, and I'll talk a little bit about a couple of other security items. We'll talk about two-factor authentication. We'll talk about a variety of different pieces. Security is the most important thing in this file portal system. The second thing that we're going to look for is simplicity and ease of use. I think you'll find the uploading, downloading, sharing, notifications back and forth are all very straightforward. What we want to help you to do is to be able to create a portal that your clients go to whenever they're thinking about their accounting, and you can use it to share your documents, not only here at tax time, but also throughout the year. I also want to say that this is an initial rollout. We do have a variety of different customizable things that can happen. So if you want, there are some areas where we will be able to customize the system in order for it to work better for you. If you want to have that done, we can do almost any customization. We can have it integrate with your current tax system. We can have it integrate with other database. We can have it integrate with your personal website. We can have it integrate with a variety of different systems and functions. However, that integration, that would be a custom add-on. So that's a place where what we would do is we'd engage with you with our technology firm, and whatever their cost would be to integrate it is what you would get charged. But again, this all comes for free, what you're going to see here today. Another piece to be aware of is that there's a setup time commitment. So you're going to take your data and you're going to move it over into this system. You're going to set up, at the very least, you're going to set your clients up with a username, a password, and some access. And then you're going to load up some files, and they're going to load up some files, and that's all fine. If you have a large number of clients, or if you have a large number of documents that you want to transfer, we can do that for you because we are aware that right now is go time in tax season. And we can do that for you, and we can do that for your clients. So if your clients have a lot of documents that need to get uploaded into the system, we can have our team come in and upload that with your clients. We'll put out an NDA. We will sign off on that. Our team will sign off on the non-disclosure. So you, again, security is paramount to us here. We will sign off on a non-disclosure on that, and we'll make sure that all of the documents are uploaded securely and into the proper places and then released. We can make that happen. There is an additional fee, as you might imagine, for people to sit and download from one system to another. It's not huge. But it is time, because it is time consuming. We do have an additional fee. But again, these will be trained people. So these will be people who are used to using the system and able to do a lot of documents within an hour or two. And so unless you have just a mountain of data and materials that have to be set up, you are not looking at a very large additional fee. And again, one-time fee, anytime that you need to transfer things in, or if your clients don't want to do the work and you'd like to bill them, we can bill you and you can bill them, and you can add on a slight surcharge if that's something that you would like to do. These are all items that are up to you, but again, they're not necessary. The system is very simple. Uploading it is very simple. You're going to find it's not any more complex than loading things up to a Yahoo Drive or a Google Drive or an Apple Drive to try and store things online in the cloud. The key is going to be putting it into the right place and then getting access to it. Today, what I'm going to walk through is your ability to set up clients and manage clients in the system. Once the system set, you have your instance of the system is set up, you'll be able to add in as many clients as you want. Now, you do have a cap on the total amount of data, but it's a very large cap. Again, similar to if you have Apple or Google, it's a huge amount of data. I don't have it off the top of my head, but we will send that out as part of our piece. And if you need more data, we can add more data for $1 or $2 per additional unit of data storage that you need. Storage is not particularly expensive, so I don't want to dwell too heavily on that. That being said, John, why don't you go ahead and bring us up our first screen? So where we begin. First thing that we have to show here is the login screen. Now you're going to get this login screen, so will your clients. When you get the login screen, one of the things that we're going to show you is a section called branding. And in the branding section, you're going to load up your logo for your business. And where your firm logo is, will be where you have the image right there at the top of this login screen. So once again, we are allowing you to present yourselves. This is your tool. This is for your company. This is not you using the NSA's tool, just like when you're working with Intuit or ADP or Verifyle or DocuSign or whatever, they all have made it a third, it's their product that you're using. We want you to feel like this is your product for your company. So you'll be able to load that in. Once we put your name into the system, you will show up as in the section where we have the client name, and then you'll have a username and an address. We will set you up. When you begin, you're going to send us a list of the qualified users that you want to have who can have access to set up clients, load documents into the system, edit documents into the system, take down documents from the system, download things, so on and so forth. You're going to choose the users in your office that you want to have access to this. If you want everyone in the office to have access to this, no problem. That's easy enough to do. If you want just one person to have access to this, no problem. And if you change your mind 2 days later, oh, I want to add in Steve, or you know what, I want to take Lily off the account because she has more important things to do. No problem. For those, you're going to call us. You're going to call the NSA office. We add and remove your system users. And so we'll go ahead and take care of that for you so that people are on and off your system based on your requirements. And you'll be able to see who is able to utilize your system from your staff. And if any time you want to change them, you can. If you want to just disable somebody because they're going on maternity leave or they're taking a leave of absence, or maybe you have a temporary person that you use every tax season, but you want them in for that season and then you want them off for the rest of the year. No problem. We turn them on, we turn them off. No big deal. You want us to add, you want us to remove people, no problem. You'll just let us know and we'll make that happen. So once you do that, you'll put in your username and your password, and then you'll go ahead and click to enter. Now, just like with every other system, we don't know what your password is. So you're going to be like at some point, somebody on your team is going to forget their password. I know because I forget one of my passwords once a week into something that I haven't gotten into for 6 weeks, and I'm like, oh, and you try 3 or 4 times, and you're like, you know what? It's not one of my regular passwords. I can't remember what it is. No problem. In that last screen, there was a forgot your password function. You'll click on it, you'll get an email, you'll click the reset link, you'll identify yourself, you'll redo your password, and you'll be able to put yourself back in. Or if for some reason that other password is, because we get to see a whole bunch of little asterisks. What you're looking at now is your landing page, and we call this the dashboard. And so on this landing page, what you're going to find is the ability to add in your clients, manage your client base, do your branding, and upload and download documents. So we're going to start by looking at adding in your clients. So, John, if you would go ahead and go to the add to clients. What you've got here, whoop, go back one for me, John. Thank you. What you've got here is a page that shows you Here's how many clients you have. Here's how much space you're using. Here's who's active, so on and so forth. John, if you'll scroll down a little bit, it'll show you who the clients are. Now, right now, since this is a demo, we only have the one client in, and John has used himself as the example. So, and that's all fine, but that shows you the active clients. It shows you what the information is, so on and so forth. It tells you when the last time when they've been there. And you'll notice on the right-hand side, we've got a number of indicators. These we are happy to build out as you tell us you need them. So, for example, if you need to have an indicator for somebody who hasn't logged in for a year or who has logged in every day or who has loaded up a new document or who has signed a document or whatever you need a special indicator for to let you know, hey, I've got something happening with this client that I want to pay attention to. If you give us that feedback, we'll go ahead and get those integrated into future releases so that those ideas can come out and we can build them into the roadmap for the future of this technology. What's important here for you to be aware of is that you're also going to be able to turn people on and off. So if you have a client who, for some reason, you're no longer working with, maybe they didn't pay their bills on time, maybe they went to another accountant, maybe I don't know, for whatever reason, you've decided, you're taking a break. You can disable them without deleting them because you and I both know that at some point they're going to go to a new client and they're new sorry they're going to go to a new accounting firm and the new accounting firm's going to come to you and be like, hey, I can't find this tax document or this receipt or in whatever payroll item, whatever the item is that is needed. I can't find it. Do you have it? And you're going to want to be able to go back and utilize this portal to be able to find it and easily send it to whomever. You may even find that what you'd like to do is be able to turn it back on, let the new accounting firm have access to it, let them download all the stuff that they need, and then turn it back off. You may choose to do different things like that. Those are all up to you. But the good news is that you don't have to get rid of everything. You don't have to delete it, and it's securely stored for you online here in the system. All right, John, go ahead and move forward to the adding a new client page. Thank you for sticking around on the landing page for me for a minute. So in the new system, what you're going to do is you're going to add in a client, and you'll see on the left-hand side that what we've got over here is we've got the client, and you're going to want to add in who the users are that can be able to access this particular client portal. Let's start with a small client. You do their, high net worth individual, maybe they've got a complex tax structure, and all you do for them is their annual taxes. No problem. But they also happen to be married, so you want to have the spouse be able to get access to the system as well. So you go ahead, you'll add them in. We're not going to walk, you have seen this 100 times. We're not going to walk through the adding in process. You're going to click to add, you're going to type in their name, you're going to add their email, you're going to let them be active, and you're going to set them up. Now, one thing that's a little bit different here than what you might be used to, for example, if you were, setting up your own email account or something on Google, is that you have to set them up in the system first, and then we go back and give them permission to be able to load things up into the system. So that way they're in the system first, and then we set their permissions. And that's just to make sure that we're not sending out access codes and tokens to be able to get to this, and somebody happens to get on their computer because they left it open, or gets on their iPad and clicks on their email and is able to get in and set themselves up using the token that we set it out. So there, again, security is job one here. So you'll load it up.
Joshua,
Yeah, go
Joshua,
ahead.
just one point on that. I have over the last couple of days gotten an email from a couple of folks saying, "Hey, it's saying I don't have access," and that's because the token has expired. And again, that feels like a bug, not a feature, but it really is there for your security. We'll go through how to resend those. It's really easy, That's a good example of, hey, it says it's invalid. Well, it is because we want to make sure that only you are accessing that, or only your client is accessing that. So
Good.
yeah, that's just a showing the system working as it should there.
And to John's point, what this means is you're not going to set your clients up at 11 p.m. because they're not going to be online. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set your clients up at some point when you're actually able to communicate with them, because you're going to generate that token. When you create them in this system, it's going to send them an email. They need to check that email within a relatively short period of time. John, do you happen to know the time?
Yeah, just think about it in hours as opposed to days is really the
Great.
best way to think about it. Yep.
So expect it to be less than an hour, and you'll be fine. But you'll also want to, if you're on, it's great to do it when you're on the phone with a client and be able to say, "Hey, it's coming," or to send out an email ahead of time saying, "Hey, please be available Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock to just accept your token, and we'll be able to move forward." It's not a super big deal. And if you run into problems, if you're finding this is a challenge, we all know we're all going to have a client who is never available when you want to send. You could be talking to them on the phone and they're not available to accept the token for whatever reason, or they won't get it, or whatever. We can work with you to fix that
Actually,
and get
Joshua,
that.
to your point, that functionality actually exists within the system here. The X right here says to deactivate. But if you had a client it's stuck in my spam, I want to do this, you could actually activate them here. It would be a green check box, or a green check that you would click, and then they would be activated. So you can always do it for them that here manually.
Exact. Thank you, John. And so again, you can set this up. But our default, and this is the point that I think John was really trying to impress upon me, is that our default is for security. And I see some questions coming up. I promise you we will get to them, and we'll get to them at the end. Thank you for putting them in the chat. I appreciate that. So once you've set somebody up, okay, then what can they do? And we're going to get to their client side, but I'm going to actually put a pin in that. And we're going to talk about that in just a moment. I'd like to finish with what you can do as the accountants first, because it'll make more sense. And so once you've set people up, again, you'll be able to turn them on, you can turn them off, you can deactivate them, you can delete them. My encouragement is not to delete people unless you're sure they're not coming back. It's not a big deal. You can just add them back in, but why add them back in when you can just deactivate them and leave them there so that you knew they were part of the account at some point in time? And again, it also maintains the communication layer so that if suddenly you can't get into from one person to another, you have other people on the system that you might be able to reach out to. Okay, John, let's go ahead. Yeah, please, John, go ahead and go to the document center. And this is the upload and download section of the document center. And you'll forgive me because for me, I've got a little script and some notes, and I'm also looking at the chat, and so my screen is pretty small to be able to see what we're talking about. But this is where you can upload documents, and you can set documents up for the individual instance of a client. So each client is going to have their own section of this system within your section of the system. And we're going to use the file folder type metaphor. You're going to have a file on the big system. Within your file in the big system are going to be subfiles, which are going to be each of your clients. And if you want, you can add additional file layers below that if you want to do it year after year. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that's the way I want you to think about this is you have a big file. Within that file are all of your clients. They have their own files. They can't see into anybody else's file, and you can see into all their files. But you won't be moving things from one file to another, or sorry, one folder to another, because obviously they're different clients. The important piece to this is two things. First, when I use the term instance, what I mean is that folder for that client. or your big folder. So if I say your instance of the system, what I mean is we're running this on a big server. You have an instance. That is your folder. Within that instance are your clients. They each have a folder, and those are their instances. So that's what I mean by it. Now, within that, you're going to be able to put different clients within there. And then once you've put the clients into the system, that's when you'll connect them, their people, their users to the different folders that they have, and you'll begin uploading and downloading documents. John, can we show them just kind of give them a sense of where the upload is on there? So if they wanted to add a file,
Yeah,
it's just,
absolutely. Yeah, so in the top right, there's a big green button that says upload file, and that's going to work just like any other upload mechanism you would use for any other system. You click it, and then you can either drag and drop the file or go browse and find it amongst your other files. That's how that works. And you click upload. Um, and the step by step, all these step by step guide is in the step by step directions are in the user guide. So if you want screenshots of each step, that's there for you. But this is where you would do that. Um, and then um, and
and
then
that's the exact same as with, again, with Google or with Yahoo or Apple. And again, if you want to search by file, you can click on that and it'll bring up that your your Explorer window where you've got the file metaphor. You can search within your computer and find things. If you're looking to find things online, maybe you stored things in another cloud directory, you can go and grab them. And again, one of the questions and I'll repeat this when we get to the question answer, but I happen to see it go by. If you're grabbing data from another portal, whether it's Verifyle or Google or whatever, if you highlight all of those, you can bring them over in bulk into the system. It'll just take a little longer for you to be able to do that, and that'll require your system and your network connection to be a little bit stronger. You'll also see there's a button next to the upload file on the left of it is bulk download. So maybe you want to you've got your client and they have loaded up all their receipts, all their tax documents, all their bank statements, all their letters, so on and so forth, and you just want to download everything onto your desktop or into a separate file folder and zip it all together maybe at the end of the year or maybe at the beginning of the year to load into your tax system or what have you. You can download everything all at once, or you can click on each individual file and download it one at a time. So whichever is more convenient for you at that time. And then finally, we've got notifications. And John, if you'd highlight that notification button. Nope, the yellow circle up. Yeah, thank you. And this is important because these are the changes that have happened within your account. And so as things get loaded up, loaded down, so on and so forth, you'll be notified and reminded, hey, this happened, so that you know what's actually happening with all of your clients and you can kind of keep an eye on where each of these things is going on. I hope that that all makes sense to you, and we'll go ahead and keep continuing. And so John has moved us over to the filter, and you'll notice that when I talked before about permissions, so we've loaded John up as the user for his company, and we've got his email, and we've got options for he can read, he can write, he can sign. So what that means is if he can read, he can see the things that are within the system, but he can't load them up and he can't load things up and he can't take them down and he can't make changes to them. Uh, the write file lets him load things up, lets him change, file names, lets him change files on the system, swap out files on the system, so on and so forth. And the signature means he's allowed to actually sign off on documents. One of the biggest features of this is the ability for you to indicate on a form where somebody can sign off. And then what we have done, and this is one of our critical tools it took us a while to make sure we got this exactly correct, was we have IRS compliant digital signatures. And those digital signatures will be for up to two people on the system. So you can highlight, and we're going to show you in just a minute how that all works. And John, if you want to go ahead and set that up while I'm talking about it, that would be great. And so what will happen is when you put in a PDF or Word document, whatever you've loaded in, we recommend PDFs. You're actually going to highlight on the PDF where it is that they can sign digitally. And you're going to set up if it's different. So for example, let's say you have a couple, a married couple, and you have the primary and you have the spouse, and both of them have to sign off on the document. You can set up the primary's signature and you can set up the spouse's signature. And what will happen is, and John's going to pull it up and we'll show you how it works, is that it will actually set it up in the system so that the primary accesses their piece and signs off on their piece. And when that happens, the time and date stamp is automatically applied. So the time and date stamp will automatically be attached to their signature. It'll be visible in the document. It will then be a part of the document, and moving forward, it will be attached to the document. Then the secondary, the spouse, can come in and also sign the document. And they can do it in reverse order, so they don't have to do it all at the same, it doesn't have to be the primary first and then the spouse. The spouse happens to be home first and gets online and does it. Easy peasy. But the nice piece is that this happens, and then you'll get a little yellow notification. That little yellow circle that currently has what, five, six up there. It pops up an extra one, and you'll get a little notification that hey, there's an extra. Someone has signed a document, and you can go in and just double check and be like, oh, thank goodness, because I've been waiting for that for a while, so I can finish up their forms and submit them. So,
Just a
John, do you
note.
want to go ahead?
Yeah, just a note on that. Those notifications will also be emailed. So you'll be contacted, or you'll get an email saying your client signed something, and you'll also be notified if a client uploads something, and vice versa. The client will get an email. A signature has been requested of you. Click here to proceed. So yeah. So the as far as the signature request functionality, you'll go to the folder that is for the client, and then you'll go to the document that you've uploaded that you need this signature for, and then in the menu here it says request signature. Then you get to choose who is allowed to sign it. In this case, just me. So, but this is where you pick me and my wife and my dog and whoever else. So yes, so I would select. I'm going to request a signature of John Overington. Next, and then this is where you will actually you'll actually draw the box for where you need the signature. And so if you look here, there's add signature block, there's add initials block, and then there's add a date block. So if we go down to the bottom, I am not a tax expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm sure there's a box down here that needs to be signed. Yes, here we go. So add signature block, and you draw a block. And then if you need to add additional ones, you need the date here, you would add that date here. And then you needed them to initial it over here, you can do that here. So once you add all of the boxes necessary for the document for the first signer, then you would click finish request. And those boxes will then be active on the form. And the client will be notified via email, hey, there are things for you to fill out. You can also see that this is now red, or a sort of a pink color, that is indicated that something has been requested. Once it's signed, you'll get a notification, but you'll also see here it would turn green as signed.
And just as I'm sure many of you have done a DocuSign or a Verifyle or another signature process. It's the standard. You type it in, it'll draw out a signature on it. You put in your appropriate information, you hit submit, and then that signature will be valid and IRS reflected. So that's the general gist of how that all works. Now, I do want to swing over to branding a little bit. And branding's at the bottom. It's actually the first thing you're going to set up, but you're going to set it up and then forget about it and not worry about it. And that's why we put it at the very bottom of the navigation bar. And so what you see here is and we'll enhance this as we go along if it's something that people actually want more visual identity. If you want to be able to put in pictures of your staff or your family or what have, if that helps you in your business, great. We're happy to do that. But the most important thing is you get to upload your logo. So you'll go ahead and you'll be able to upload a file into your logo. You'll get to choose your color scheme. Obviously, with NSA, it would be blue and white. For yours, it might be green, it might be red, it might be what have you. John, can you change it to something? I don't mind what it is, but just change it so people can see how it flips around. And you can also change the font color of the print. I strongly encourage you to either make it white or black so that it's easier for people to read, especially as someone who, doesn't have the best vision in the world. It's super nice when you have a good contrast and so that you can actually be able to read the navigation pieces. And again, this is not a huge deal, but it's nice to be able to have your firm's colors and your logo and your name represented properly on your system. Great. So this
Joshua,
concludes. Go ahead, John.
just one last piece I wanted to hit on. So in the other piece that can be customized is this portion of the website URL, which is going to default to your first and last name. So right here, I have fake firm. It would be John Overington. We default it to just the NSA member's first and last name. So it would be joshuacaulfield.nsacct.org. But we can customize that to anything that you would like. There are a few restrictions, essentially just all lowercase letters, not a lot of symbols. But if that's something you want to change, you can just make us aware. And as long as it's not already taken by another member, we can certainly make that happen for you. So another way to customize it and make it look like your own, which is kind of nice.
And so what that means is that the link you'll be sharing will be your company name and it's .nsacct.org. And we can actually make it so that if you want it to be a link, a different link, if you want a bounced link from it, we can create that. That's no problem. If you want the link to come from your website, we can show you how to do it. It's not that difficult. So that way, maybe they're coming to your normal website. So I don't know if Randy's on the call, but Randy's accounting firm is Brant Accounting. So he's going to want us to change it from brantrandy.nsacct.org to brantaccounting.nsacct.org. But he may not want to give that out. And so what he may want to give out is brantaccountingportal.com. And we can help you set that up. That's not that difficult. Or maybe he just wants it to go, maybe on Brant Accounting on his homepage, he puts a link to client portal and click on a button and it takes you right there. And that's also very easy to set up. Great. John, is there anything that I have missed that you can recall? If not, we'll do another video because we can't get
Yeah,
enough videos.
yeah. No, I think the only other thing, and we touched on it before, it's just those tokens expiring.
Great.
It's gonna they'll expire for the client as well, and that's resent as easily as clicking this resend email, send reset email, which is essentially just resetting their token. So if a client can't access it, it's very simple to reset or resend so that they can access it.
Great. So John, if you would take the time to switch us over to the client view, then I will kind of talk a little bit about what you're going to find in the client view. And frankly, it's a lot of the same. I mean, it's most of the same stuff, except they won't have as much user management and they are not going to have any branding. It's basically going to be the uploading and downloading. Go ahead, John. I see you are ready to share.
No. It's just I was just going to say the interface is very similar. We don't have a client one loaded for showing today, but yeah, we can. There are screenshots of that in the user guide, but we don't have one to access this moment.
And we do have a separate video on YouTube that shows the client from the development site. So we'll go ahead and make that available. And as I said, John and I will do another run of this and we'll record it and we'll make it available to you after this. But as I mentioned, it's going to be purple. It's going to have your logo. It's going to have your firm name. They're going to be able to load up and drop down documents, so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead now and hit some of the questions in the chat. So give me a moment to scroll back up here. Hang on just one moment. When I go to activate your account, my email says invalid credentials. Thank you, Larry. And that is probably because of the token situation. Larry, if you continue to experience that, so why don't you give our office a call and we'll make sure to set it up with you so that we can get you online just in case it's not a token issue. That way we'll be on the phone with you and either John, myself, or Cindy can walk you through it. That's easy peasy. And one of the things that's important, I think, about this system is that it's it's not like you're a random client of a large, DocuSign doesn't know who you are. NSA does. And you're going to get a real person to actually help you when you run into trouble with this. And you're not going to run into a lot of trouble because it's not that complicated, but periodically you're going to have a glitch or your client's going to have a glitch because maybe they're not super familiar with all the tech. No problem. We'll get somebody to actually, speak and walk folks through. John, did you have some? I feel like you have
Yeah,
something you wanted.
I just reset Larry's token, so he should have it in his inbox right now.
Okay. So, Teresa asked, can a married couple share an account? Yes, they can. And I think you just saw that when you have documents that require both their signatures, you will set up that signature form on each of the documents for each of the individual people. Can we have two different emails sharing the account so they can both see the same information? Yes, you're not actually, it's not actually going to be at the account level, it'll be at the user level. So you can do as many users of the client on the client side as you want, and all of them can log in and be able to see the information. And if they set themselves up for notifications, they can all get notified. John, go ahead.
Nothing.
Okay.
I just
I actually got that one.
you,
Excellent.
you crushed it.
Uh, Jennifer suggests 48 hours would be preferred for the token expiration. Jennifer, love that idea. Let me look into it and let's look at if there how that fits in with our security concerns. But I do appreciate that having a longer period of time than, certainly more than 5 minutes, and that's why we set it up for an hour. But so I acknowledge the point you're making, and let us look into that, and maybe we'll get back to you and be able to extend that if it does not compromise security. Teresa asked, this may be a problem since we can't always coordinate with them. So again, Teresa is reinforcing we may need more time. Great. I love that feedback. Not a super, it should not be a super huge deal. But again, I don't want to speak without actually talking to our security experts first and finding out what their
So
implications are.
just the only time I've encountered it is it's been more than 24 hours. So I don't know what the window is, but it's pretty significant. It's in my experience so far.
Dean asked if we were using a third-party vendor to do this or if we did it ourselves. We created it ourselves in order to put it together. So what you're seeing has been developed specifically for the NSA. Uh, Lee, Lilia, sorry, mentions, can data be transferred to your new portal from Verifyle? Maybe. Absolutely, Lilia. And depending upon how much so first of all, you can certainly do that. You can go and grab it and drag it in. I think we showed you how you would load it up. But if you want additional help setting that up, give us a call and we can talk about it with you and figure out if that's something we can help you with as staff or if we need to bring in our outside person and sign off on NDAs and so on and so forth to help you out. Uh, JR asked if Verifile is going away. No, Verifyle is alive and well. Certainly a good company. We still think very positively of them. They just stopped their. They used to have a discounted program with nonprofits, and what they did was they took that program away and did not replace it with anything. So there's no discounts available for members through the NSA. So we no longer have a discount program with them, and this none of very little of what they do has a lot of IP protection to it. It's as I'm sorry, who said it? Dean mentioned, a lot of people have this type of system set up, and we decided to go ahead and build one ourselves because it was not that complicated. It took us longer than we expected. We had hoped to have this up within 90 days. It took us 6 months instead, so it took us 180 days. But we're very pleased with where we're at now. Will we, so Jared, will we have the same time to upload clients' documents and they have to respond to our uploads to them? There's no token on the uploads. It's only in the initial setup. It's only in activating your account. Once the accounts are set up, there's no time limit. You can load stuff up in the middle of the night. They can get back to you 3 weeks later. You can get back to them the next day. They can get back to you 3 weeks later. Yes, I'm using those because I know how it is with clients. And they're wonderful, and we love clients, but they do like to take their time to get back to us. So there's no time limit on that at all. Um,
Joshua, I can take
Dean,
the next two if you want me
yeah,
to.
go ahead.
So then the next one is, does an e-signature within our tax software, isn't that more efficient than this platform? As far as tax documents are concerned, that's totally a fine place for you to have them signed if you would like it there. I think sometimes the functionality might be a client engagement letter or things that maybe wouldn't necessarily be in your tax software. This is a place where you can engage with them and exchange that information there. I'm sure you all have lots more of ideas that are like non-tax forms specifically, but that's where my brain goes as a guy who knows very little. I also wanted to say the next one, it says the demo appears to have a primary and a spouse having different accounts or folders. That's just me setting it up for visuals. You could absolutely have the spouse and the folder for an entire family or whatever, however you organize it best. You should absolutely do it that way. That's just me trying to show that there's multiple folders. So please don't let that seem like that's the only way to do it.
And in fact, to Jennifer's point, that's absolutely correct, Jennifer. You don't want to have a signature page in two different folders. You want to have everything within the same folder. One client, one folder should be your general rule, and that's what we try to support here. Hang on one second. This next one is a little longer. What makes this IRS compliant? We went and looked through the IRS system. We made sure that the signature, because obviously, whether you're using TurboTax or there's 1,000 different tax softwares out there, and everybody is using digital signatures. And so the IRS has certain requirements that are necessary in order for a digital signature to be compliant. You can't just, take them. You can't just type your name in and just have it show up without any form of validation that the person on the other side is who they are. So that's what this digital signature process is, and that's what makes it compliant. Oh, hang on one second. How do you link spouses to the primary taxpayer? Mary, thank you. Great question. What you'll do is in the folder, and again, coming back to Jennifer's point, you'll create a folder. Let's say there's a folder for the family. Let's say the family is the client, and let's say it's Overington. And so in that, you'll have the Overington family as your client. And within there, you'll set up John Overington as one of the users. You'll set up Jenna Overington as a second user, and you'll set up Cameron Overington as a third user. And so each of them gets access to the portal. And we showed you earlier on, you can give them read-only access, you can give them write access, and you can give them signature access. In this example, We're going to give John read, write, and signature access. We're going to give Jenna read, write, and signature access. And we're going to give Cameron just read access so that he can see what's going on, but he doesn't actually get the chance to make changes and edit things within the folder. Then, when there's a document, whether it's the engagement letter, whether it's a request for an ID, whether it's various other things, and again, you have clients sign documents all the time. So whatever those documents are, maybe it's the preparer, maybe it's obviously the various tax forms that you have, you'll highlight, you'll assign it to John, you'll highlight, you'll assign it to Jenna. They'll be able to come in, they'll sign it, and then it'll notify you that those have been signed and are ready to go. I hope that that explains that. Pamela, I see you have the same login problem. We're going to go ahead and get that taken care of for you.
Already sent.
Jennifer, interestingly, I guess my token might have expired when you set up. Okay, Jennifer, we're gonna go ahead and set you up as well. Uh, Dean asked what the cost is for this. Thank you, Dean. This is free with your membership. So as long as you have a membership with the NSA, you have access to this. So just maintain your membership. Uh, Larry's still having some challenges. No problem, Larry. We'll follow up with you after this. Are you planning to do more demo web Lilia? Absolutely, we're going to do more demos. We actually are trying to do a soft launch because we figured everybody was going to be very busy with tax season. And so our objective here was to get the word out, let those of you who might not have an alternative set up, we wanted to get this in front of you, let you know you could have it and use it. We can walk you through it. If you need a personal walkthrough, just let John and I know. One of us will take. This doesn't take a super huge. This is taking an hour because we're trying to get through everything. But walking you one-on-one through this, 15 minutes. And I'm happy to take, for one of our staff to sit down with you, log you in, get you set up and just walk you through. Here's how to create your first client portal. Here's how to do your branding. Here's how to go load your logo in. Here's how to upload a document. Here's how to create a signature file. No problem. We are happy to help you. Again, this is NSA. You're our family. We want to make sure that you are up and running on all this. We're here for you. Um, Teresa. So right now we have clients who have an entity return and an individual return. Will a user be able to see the folder for each entity individual we prepare for them all in one place? If that's how you want to set it up, Teresa, absolutely yes. If you'd like to have subfolders that break those out, you can set those up and you can set the permissions by folder so that people can't see the other folders if you don't want them to. I hope that that makes sense. I think it's pretty clear, but it's basically yes, if you want everybody to see everything, yes, you can have it all in one place. If you want to break it up within that instance, you can and have only some things be available to some people. Sam asked, uh, can you please share the link to set up the account? Absolutely, Sam. No problem. And thanks for coming. We appreciate you showing up. We know it's very busy for all of you. How do we get set up? Dean asks. Dean, just come to we have a link on the NSA website. You can also just email John Overington, J Overington, Overington at nsacct.org or J Caulfield, Caulfield, and we'll at NSACCT. In addition, we're sending you out a follow-up email as soon as this is, well, not as soon as this is done. It's not as fast as a token, but we'll have it out to you within 48 hours. No, we'll have it out pretty quickly. How to set it up, and included in that email will be a document that walks you through this entire process and has screenshots to show you where everything is. All right, what else have we got? What is the free storage limit? Thank you, Hassam, and I hope I pronounced that right. I don't remember off the top of my head, and I'm sorry. That is an item that I should have known. I promise you, I will send that email out within 24 hours. We'll have that storage limit for you, and we'll send it out along with the rest of the information. Um, Dean says, I have a portal with the CPA site solutions. Will those be able to be transferred to the NSA Sync? Yes, you can absolutely move things from one to the other. No problem. And again, if you want additional help, we have people who are available. There is a small additional per hour fee, but it shouldn't take that long. Jennifer, potentially, if a password reset request automatically resets the token, the 48 hours I requested might not be as critical. That is correct, Jennifer. But that original token setup, I still think you have a good point. I think Jennifer and Teresa's point is absolutely reasonable, and especially when it comes to your clients, they're gonna need a little bit of time. So let me look into that and see if we can accommodate that. Again, this is one of the benefits of using an NSA product is that we're going to try and do things that are supportive of you, the independent accountant that's out there. So again, I'm going to wrap this up because I want to be respectful of your time. Thank you for spending this hour with us. Thank you for looking over the product. We've put a lot of time and effort into it. As you use it, you're going to have questions or you're going to have comments or you're going to have concerns. Please send them right over to us and we will work on fixing them as quickly as possible. And if we can make changes that help you support your clients, we will do the best that we can to get that done quickly. So, again, thank you all very much. Thank you for being members. We're really glad to have you on the team and we wish you just absolutely the best tax season.